Hi everyone, you are welcome to another webinar, another Soft Life webinar series. And today we are talking about the 2026 checklist. So, this is a checklist that you must have if you want to thrive in 2026. Okay? So I am streaming live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on TikTok. So if you are just joining me, let me know where you are watching me from. I promise you, we're going to have an amazing, amazing time today. Okay. All right. So, like I said, this is a checklist. So, you better go get your journal and you go get your pen because we are starting class. Class is in session. Hi, Susie. Class is in session today. Okay. So, get you your journal, get you a pen. We are going to break down the checklist, the things to look out for if you want to thrive. All right. So, let's get started. Now, before I share, you might be seeing me for the first time. If this is the first time you are seeing me, my name is Lady Teresa, aka the Soft Life Strategist, aka the Money Goddess. So if you are seeing me for the first time, you're welcome. If you've seen me before, you're welcome back. All right. So it is my mission basically to strategize with you and show you the soft life strategies to live abroad. So if you're an immigrant, especially in Canada, it's a whole new ball game, leaving a country to another new country. So you need someone that can hold your hand. You need someone that can show you the soft life way to live as an immigrant. Because most immigrants come in and there are always two ways to live in this country: the hard way and the soft way. All right. So if you're looking for the soft way, I am your girl. If you want to live the hard way, avoid me. Okay. I'm a mom of two. I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I'm a licensed advisor and a certified life coach. Okay. So today we are going to do some kind of review. We're going to review 2025. I have been going live talking about it on TikTok, but today I decided to share it so that those who have missed the individual live sessions that I've had, you can also now come here and catch up. Okay. So let's get started. Now, this thing is not about pressure. It's not, sometimes when people think of review or they think of, okay, let me see how the year went, they kind of feel like they are putting themselves under pressure. And that is why some people don't do it. So they have this feeling of, well, we'll be fine, last, we'll be fine. But one thing you have to know about review is that awareness is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Awareness is always the first step of transformation. If you want to transform in any area of your life, the first step is awareness. The first step is looking at that thing face to face and seeing for yourself what the situation is. You are not looking at it from a place of pressure. You're not looking at it from a place of, oh, it has to be perfect. You're just looking at it from a place of awareness. You just want to know that this is what is going on, period. And I want you to have that same mindset regarding this session that we're going to go today. Okay. It's not about pressure, it's not about perfection. Look at it just as a diagnostic tool. When you just use this magnifying glass just to look at something so you see it as it is and not as you wish it to be. Most times when we are imagining something, we either look at it better than it is or we look at it worse than it is. But for the purpose of today's session, we are just going to look at our life as it is. Okay. So thank you for joining. Like I said, you can let me know where you're watching me from, and I'll be glad to acknowledge you. Okay. Now you're going to look at this checklist. You have to look at it like a scan. Look at it like a yearly health scan, because this checklist can help you throughout. It can become something that guides your year. All right. So look at it like a health scan for your life. You are not judging yourself. You are just observing some patterns. You're just like, okay, let me see what patterns I created for myself. Let me see if there are gaps to be closed so I can decide what to adjust. Okay. So we're going to talk about what to review in 2025 and then what to track in 2026. And I'm also going to explain to you why it matters. Like I said, most people do not achieve their goals because we do not track these goals. So I'm going to break it down for you in a way that is very simple. You can literally have it as a workbook and you to guide your 2026. Okay? So let's get started. The first thing to review for 2025 and start tracking for 2026 is your health. There are so many year-end vision board, so many trainings, how to do this, how to do that, how to do ABC. But we forget that this is the vehicle. This is the body. You need this body to achieve any goal you want to achieve in 2026. So if you are not starting from your health, then this is the biggest mistake ever. Because there are people who have achieved their biggest dreams and they still shut down. The body shut down. So this is for you to know where to start from. So we are starting from the health. Now I want you to look at your body. Look at your body like a machine. Look at it like data. Don't, it's not an emotional thing. You have to review everything we're going to review today. We're not going to be emotional about it because it is when you're being emotional about it that you end up not reviewing because you don't like how it looks. Okay, so I want you to look at your body just like you will see a car, just like you look at any vehicle out there. Okay, you are going to check certain statistics about your body, like your weight, like your blood pressure, like your sleep quality and consistency, like your stress level, energy level. You have to start from that. So let's start. We've started, the class is in session, okay? You have your journal, you have your pen. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, did my body improve this year, or did it decline, or did it stay the same? I'm sure some of us now, if I ask you, what is your weight right now? Do you know what your weight is right now? Did you check your weight in January of 2025? Are you able to do a comparison and say, this is what I was weighing in January 2025? This is what I'm weighing now, December 2025. So that's the only way you can know if things improved or they declined. So if you are someone who was not tracking all this, I'm hoping that this will now help you for 2026 because you need to know, is your body improving or declining? You don't want to be that person that just wakes up today and now the next thing you have high blood pressure. High blood pressure does not come to somebody overnight. Weight gain does not come to somebody overnight. It creeps in. So if you are not tracking it, I'm hoping that now for 2026, you will start tracking it. Okay. So first is your weight. Second is your blood pressure. Do you know what your blood pressure is? These are questions I ask people, and unfortunately, most people don't. In fact, the only people that know their blood pressure are people that have blood pressure problems. These are the only people. Now, why do you need to wait until it becomes a problem before you start checking it regularly? Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in gradually, right? So these are factors, data about yourself that you should know. And if you didn't do it in 2025, then you will have to track it for 2026. In terms of sleep, how many hours of sleep did you get on an average in 2025? How many hours of sleep did you get? Most of us don't know because we're not tracking. The only way you can know if something is getting better or getting worse is by being aware of it. Phil says 5 hours. That's good. I'm happy that we have someone that has a number, right? So these are questions you have to ask yourself. So when it comes to your health, if you didn't do that this year, please put it in your journal for next year. Your weight, you need to know your weight range. You need to know your sleep hours. You need to know your blood pressure and just basic health markers. That's I'm just using the basics. You need to know your blood pressure because when you know it, that's when you can ask yourself, do I want it? Phil sleeps an average of 5 hours every night. Is that what you want? If the answer is yes, okay, what can I keep doing to maintain it? If the answer is no, that this is not what I want, okay, what can I do to get what I want? I hope that is making sense. Okay. So, why does it matter? You cannot execute your goal, you cannot achieve any goal inside a tired body. There's a popular saying that we have 100 problems until we have a health problem. And then we now only have one problem. True or true? Have you heard that statement before? That most times when you see people complaining, oh, I have this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem, 1,000,001 problems in life until health problem becomes one of it, and you realize you only have one problem. Me, that my source of living is my mouth. I talk for a living, literally. There was a time I lost my voice, like I had this bad sore throat and I lost my voice. I wasn't thinking of anything anymore. I wasn't thinking of my financial goals. I wasn't thinking of my emotional goals. I wasn't thinking of any other goal. All I just wanted was to get well. So you cannot execute any 2026 goals in a tired body or in a body that is not functioning the way you want it to function. So that is the first thing we're going to check. This checklist, I hope you are writing things down. This checklist, the first thing we are checking is our health. If you were not able to track it from January to now decide that you're going to track it from January of 2026. Because it is in tracking it that you can ask yourself, okay, what were the health habits that worked for me? And what are the health habits that I need to stop because it didn't work for me? That's how you review your year. It's not just by doing vision board and cutting papers and cutting magazines and putting on a board. You need to ask yourself questions. You need to review what has happened in your life. Okay? So that is number one on our list, on our checklist. Number one is your health. Okay? Now let's go to number two. Number two is your family relationship. From health, the next thing is emotional. Have you seen that your money is not even coming first in this review that we're doing? Your money is not coming first. Because if the health is bad, all those your savings and investments will finish because you need to fix the health. If your emotions are not in a good place, all that money will finish because you are buying comfort food. Okay, that's why you see people saying, I'm an emotional eater. I like to, when I'm feeling down, I eat. So you need to review the emotion. Now, what are the core aspects of your family, or what I call your emotional relationships? The first one is marriage. So if you are married, can you review how your marriage was in 2025? What was the communication like? Because if there's one thing that keeps a marriage is communication. Doesn't matter who the individuals are. The only thing that can keep a marriage, or the one thing, let me also the only thing, the one thing that keeps a marriage is communication. So, what was communication like in your marriage this year? The second thing is parenting. How present were you as a parent? No money. Someone says, is that the only thing people are communicating? No money. So, the second thing is parenting. How present were you as a parent in 2025? What were the things that distracted you? What were the relationships that made you feel safe, feel good? And what were the relationships that drained you this year? Can you remember? What are the relationships that drained you, and what were the relationships that made you feel safe? Are you writing them down? Because, like I said, class is in session. Okay. What are the dynamics? Some people, maybe it's the extended family, Maybe for some people, it's the friends. What kind of friends did you have this year? Because this thing is one of the things that help you, that set you up for success. All right. So that's the second thing. And then if you now need to track it in 2026, you have to track. You cannot just say, oh, I want our communication to improve in 2026. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. If it's intentional, spending time intentionally with your partner, with your children, you need to note it down. You need to create a structure. You need to say, oh, we're going to be doing this every Saturday, every Sunday. We're going to be having a check-in. For those that say no money, we're going to be having money meeting every week. So you track it, because anything you cannot track, you cannot improve. Anything you cannot track, you cannot improve. That's why when people have blood pressure problem, they'll say check your blood pressure every day. That's why when people are having weight issue, they say go and buy a scale. Like I don't know how some people don't have a weight scale in the home. That should be, if you can have a TV, you should have a scale to check weight. If you can have a phone, you should have a weight scale. You should even have a blood pressure device. You don't need to be someone who has blood pressure issues to own a device in the home. Okay, so check your relationships and then you can track it for 2026. How intentional do you want to be? Do you want to have emotional check ins? What kind of boundaries do you want to create with the extended families? Because for some people, it's the extended families that drained them this year. So, what boundaries do you want to create for 2026? This is the time for you to write it. Not when you enter the year, you just assume that things will automatically change. No, if you do not review, you cannot change. All right. So, number three on our list, if you're just joining, we are doing our 2026 checklist. And we cannot have a checklist if we do not review 2025. Okay? You don't set checklists from the air. You cannot just wake up and just say, oh, this is how I want my life to be. No, 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 no. You have to review. Someone said miss number one. Number one is your health. That's the first on your checklist. What was your weight in January compared to now? What was your blood pressure in January compared to now? What was your sleep pattern? How many hours of sleep were you getting on an average in January compared to now? If you don't have those numbers, you can now see. That's why I said this checklist is not for you to judge yourself. It's for you to say, okay, now I know what to track in 2026. Okay. Then number two is your family dynamics, like I said, which could be marriage, communication, parenting, how present were you? Extended family, what was the boundaries? Were there boundaries at all? What were the friendships that drained you in 2025? And what were the friendships that made you feel good in 2025? So you can set better boundaries for 2026. Okay. So let's go to number three. Now we can talk about money. Okay. Because we've handled the health, we've handled the emotion. Now let's talk about money. And it's not just to talk about money, you need to also break it down. So if you are reviewing your income, the first thing is what was the total income? The first thing to ask yourself is what was the total income you earned in 2025? Do you know how much income you earned in 2025? Some people, when you ask them, they will just tell you what they got in their offer letter or in their employment letter, or that is not your money. I am sorry, my brother, my sister. Your money is the one that entered your account. You can't count tax as part of your money. It's not your money. So, how much did you actually earn in 2025? And what were the sources of income? How many sources of income do you have? Because if you don't know how much you earned and where it came from, then you will not know where your focus should be in 2026. There are people complaining about their jobs. Oh, my job, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Now, if you check your income, all your income, 100% of your income came from your job. So why are you complaining? So when you do these reviews, like I said, it lets you know where your attention should be. It lets you know where your focus should be. It lets you know how grateful you should actually be. So this is for those that always complain about their jobs. If that was your only income source, you better stop complaining. So what was your income source and how much of your income was active? How much of your income was passive? How much of your income was residual? You need to review these things so that you can know what goals to set for 2026. So that in 2026, you can say, okay, now this is where my attention will be because this is where I got the most of my income. Then these are my goals. I need to earn this passively. I need to earn this residually. So, what can I do right now so that I can earn this amount of passive income, so I can earn this amount of residual income, or so I can increase this active income? You cannot set goals if you do not review the actual. So, monthly income, check it by source, check it, the growth. Was it reducing or was it going up? There are some people that the money they started earning from January is like the thing dipped. The amount you earned in January was more is more than the amount you earned in December, or the other way around. So you're now tracking in 2026 which income do I want to grow in 2026? Which income drained me? Which source of income drained me so much that I don't even want it again? That's how you set better goals because now you are reviewing how the year went. All right. Now let's go to number four. Number four is your expenses. It's time to review your expenses. These are questions you should ask yourself. Where did my money leak? Because your income is like water, right? Your vehicle, your account is like a bucket. Okay. Hi, sweets. Thanks for joining. Your account is like a bucket, right? Now, imagine you have a bucket of water and there is a tiny hole. You know, when it's a big hole, it will just, finish. So you will be forced to do something about it. But when it's a very tiny hole, you can fill that bucket up and go to bed. And then you wake up the next day, maybe the bucket of water is now by half because of the hole. But if there was no hole, you would use that water for the purpose you wanted to use it. Your money is like that. You need to find out was there any leakages? Do you know some of the things that can make your money leak? We'll share some examples. The biggest one is black tax. That is the biggest money leak right now when you're sending money back home. I told a few of my the people I work with, I said, can you sit down and write out how much you have sent back home in 2025? Check it out. And I don't want you to calculate it in dollars because if you count it in dollars, it kind of looks small, especially if you're from Africa like me, right? I want you to count it in the currency that you sent it, the currency that received it, rather. I'm from Nigeria and I started hearing numbers that blew my mind. People have sent 50 million naira this year. People have sent 20 million naira. People have sent 10 million naira back home this year. Now, I am not saying we shouldn't send money back home. I am saying, was that part of your budget? If it wasn't part of your budget, that is a leakage. If it wasn't part of your budget, then that is a leakage. So that's why I said it's the biggest leakage, because most people, when they did this number, they were shocked. Because I'm sure you're like, it's just $50, $20, $100. And at the end of the year, you had sent enough money to build a house. In fact, to build 2 units or 3 units of houses, in fact, that can give you enough passive income. So ask yourself those questions. Where did my money leak? Other places that money leak is bank charges. I don't know what our loyalty to big banks, like I tell people, especially newcomers to Canada, what is this loyalty you have towards the big banks? For some people, the money you paid as bank charges for the whole year is enough to buy you $1 million of life insurance. And I'm not kidding. Literally enough to buy you $1 million of life insurance, meaning you didn't even touch any other money. You still lived your life. You just took the money that would have gone to bank charges and you gave it to insurance company, and the insurance company would have given you $1 million of life insurance. That's how you know money is leaking. When you count what that money could have done, that's how you know your money is leaking. So ask yourself those questions. Where did my money leak this year? So that you can fix it for next year. Because if you don't ask these questions, you won't fix it, and then it goes there again for 2026. For some people, it's their phone bills. For some people, it is Amazon, impulse buying. Where did your money leak? Review it so you can now set a better goal for 2026. So in tracking it in 2026, now you're doing either a weekly tracking to see where this money is going and see if it's actually going where I want it to go. All right. The next one, because as you're asking, like I said, each question that you're asking is helping you set better goals. I am not here to tell you what to do for 2026. I just want to give you the checklist so that when you look at it and say, oh, I sent 100 million naira back home, I spent 50 million CDs, wherever country you're in or whatever. If that's what you wanted, then you know that that's not a leakage. But if you're like, this thing is much, oh, I didn't know it was this much, then that's a leakage. So it's not for me to tell you what to do or not do. It's for you to see for yourself what is happening. It's for you to see for yourself what is happening. The second question to ask yourself in terms of expenses is, what are the expenses that improved my life this year? So that you can do more of it. What are the expenses that improved my life? Can you think? Write it down, note it down, because it will help you thrive in 2026, because now you will be able to design a 2026 that actually works for you and not against you. You'll be able to design a 2026 that works for you. All right. The next one, number 5 on our list of checklist for 2026, is your budget. Did your budget work for you or did it work against you? Did your budget work for you or did it work against you? Were your bills covered in 2025? Were all your bills covered? Let me tell you how you know that maybe your budget is not working for you. If you miss a prioritized payment, did you miss any prioritized payments in 2025? You know, when something is prioritized, it means it's set up in a way that they've looked at your income and they've set it up that you can take care of this bill. And then you self know that there is a payment coming. So it is not as if the payment just came from the air. Because whenever I see that people are missing payment and then having to pay that NSF, I say this is a budget problem. Oh. It's not an emergency. It's a prioritized payment. So clearly it's a budget issue. You knew that payment was coming. Why did you take that money to do something else? So did your budget work for you or did it work against you in 2025? Were your bills covered? Did you enjoy your money guilt-free or did you enjoy it with guilt? You know, some people, when they after spending money, they feel bad. Like, why did I spend this money? It's a budget issue. Because if your budget was working for you, you wouldn't feel bad when you buy that pizza or buy that puff puff. You won't feel bad because it's in the budget. So that's how you know if it's a budget issue. Now, what are the things to track in 2026 when it has to do with your budget? Your bills come first. Yes. I know they say pay yourself first. Not in this part of the world, though. If you don't pay your mortgage, that is foreclosure. If you don't pay for heat in this hour snow that is pouring, you will freeze. Oh. So your bills actually take priority. Because your bills are urgent and important. I didn't say go buy Amazon that it's important. No, no, no. They are urgent and important. When something is urgent and important, it means that something can shut down if it's not paid. If it's not paid, something can shut down. So Black Friday is not it might be urgent, but it's not important. Okay? So it has to be urgent and important. They take priority. So set your bills first and make sure that your bills are covered. You cannot be investing money and you haven't paid your rent. You cannot be investing money and you haven't paid your mortgage. You cannot be investing money and you've not paid for your utilities. So your bills actually do come first. The only thing we're saying is make sure that all your income is not going towards bills. So this is my 3-way I break down budget. You can break it further down, but the main 3 is your bills, your investment, and your soft life. You know I must mention soft life, right? You know I must mention soft life. So your bills, your investment, your soft life. Now your bills, I've mentioned it. They are urgent and they are important, so you track it. Your investments are anything that increases your earning power or your earning capacity, anything that would give you more money. So you can be investing in yourself, you can be investing in a business, you can be investing in the money market. So you are either investing in yourself, you are investing in a business, you are investing in money. That's the budget. And then soft life is anything that removes stress from your life or gives you enjoyment. So debt payment, if you're owing, you are under stress. So you should better allocate money to that. Your emergency fund, emergency plan, planning for emergencies is under the soft life budget because it will remove potential stress from you. Your guilt free spending, the things that you love, should be budgeted for so that you can buy that puff puff without feeling bad, without having to justify it in your head like I beg oh, somebody must enjoy. No, no, no. You don't need to justify it. Budget for it. That's it. You don't need to even try to be convincing yourself. Budget for that puff puff. If it's not in the budget, then go make more money so you can buy that coffee, so you can buy the pizza. So your bills, your investment, your soft life. That's how you can track it for 2026. Okay? Let's go. Number six. Number six on the plan. Number six on your checklist is your emergency plan. Question for you: did you have any emergencies this year? And how did you handle it this year? Did you have to go into debt because of the emergency? Did you have to panic because of an emergency, or did you have an option? You have to review it. If you panicked, then you can tell yourself in 2026, I no longer want to panic if there's an emergency. That is why you review. You review first, then you set goals for the next year. Did you have options or did you panic? So the things you're going to track in 2026 is, what is my plan for emergency? What are examples of emergency? It could be job loss. Job loss is an emergency. Emergency is not, Black Friday is coming. No, that's not an emergency. Even giving birth is not an emergency because you had 9 months to plan. It's not an emergency. Emergency is something that is sudden and accidental. Job loss, car breakdown, sickness. Now, the question is, did you have a plan for those? Even debt. So you review it and then you set goals. So if you had an emergency this year, how was it handled? Did you have a plan for it? Did you have options or did you panic? Did you go into debt and things like that? Then you can set better goals for 2026 and say, no, 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 no. I don't want to get into debt again for emergency. So now I'm going to plan for it. So you now add more money to that soft life budget. Because remember, that's where emergency plan comes in. Okay. Number seven, checklist. The things to review. Number seven is your debt. If you have any loans, student loan, credit card loan, line of credit loan, we're not even talking mortgage now, just consumer debt. Consumer debt. Where were you in January and where are you now? Were you that person that had zero loans in January and now you have $20,000 debt? Or you had $20,000 in January and now you have zero debt? What's your total debt? Now, if you don't have any debt, this is what comes in here. Your savings goal. Maybe you were saving to buy a house, maybe you were saving to travel. How did that pan out this year? How did it pan out this year? Did you achieve that goal or did it get worse? Maybe you were saving, you had like $2,000 saved as of January, and now December, we are now $200. You have to review these things. Like I said, it is not for judgment, it is not for perfection, it's for awareness. Because when you know your current situation as it is, not better than it is, not worse than it is. Because once you are leaving it to your imagination, it's either going to be better than it actually is, or it's going to be worse than it actually is. But when you look at it and get those numbers out, I remember somebody that was telling me, "Oh, I have so much debt." I was like, "How much is the debt?" They say it's too much. It's too much. I said, "Sit down and write it." By the time this person sat down and wrote everything, they found out that it wasn't as bad as they thought, and now the person is paying it off. So the whole essence of review is for you to see the reality, not the imagination, but the reality. All right. So look at your debt. Look at how it played out. Did you have any plan to pay it off? If you don't, then you are now able to set goals for 2026 and say, this is my debt payoff plan for 2026. And everybody that knows me, they know that my debt payoff plan is the soft life way, not the hard way. The hard way is cut everything. Don't even buy puff puff again. If people know me, I'm puff puff, right? Don't buy any pizza, don't buy any coffee. That's the hard way to get out of debt. The soft way to get out of debt is double your income, then divide that amount of debt by that extra income, and you will know how many months it will take you to pay it off, and your standard of living still remains the same. The income that got you in debt is not the income that will get you out of debt, period. If you do it that way, you are just killing yourself. Because if you had enough income, you wouldn't get into debt. So the income that got you in debt is not the income that will get you out of debt. So that is number 7, right? Your debt. What's the plan? So you can now say, okay, 2026, what am I going to start doing? Do I need to do Uber? Do I need to learn a skill? What do I need to do to double my income? Because it's easier to do that than to be cutting cost. And then once you start that thing that doubles your income, the whole income is going towards debt. Not when you started doing Uber, you now realize there's this jacket that I love. You now go and buy jacket. No. The whole purpose of that extra income is to pay off debt. Period. That's the plan. That's what you then set up for yourself for 2026. Okay? So number 8 is home ownership. What was your home ownership plan for those that wanted to buy a house in 2025? Or those that wanted to buy a rental property? So it could be for your first home or your rental property. What was the home ownership plan? How did it pan out this year? Did you start saving the down payment and then spent the down payment towards November? Or you're on track? What was your home ownership plan? How did it work for you? So if you looked at everything, it didn't work out very well, like I'm not too sure this, that, then you can set goals for 2026. And these are my 3 framework. I like working with frameworks a lot. If you know me, you know my soft life blueprint is a framework. My liquid property blueprint is a framework. I like working with frameworks because it reduces the decision fatigue. I don't need to be thinking too much. I just need to follow something step by step. So I have a debt repayment framework, I have a soft life framework, I have a liquid property framework. Now I have a home ownership framework. So you can track it. Frameworks are things that are easy to track. You can say, have I done this one? Check. Have I done this one? Okay, this is where I am. So you don't overthink. Once you put things in a framework, you don't need to overthink. So here's my framework for your home ownership. Please don't be that person that just saves a down payment and you say you're ready to buy a house. No, that's just one of the framework. You save the down payment. That's one of the framework. The second framework is you eliminate all consumer debt. You cannot be taking upon the biggest debt in your home and still be messing around with 25% interest rate of debt, or 22%, or 20, any high interest debt. The mortgage is the biggest debt you would have in your home. I don't think there's anybody that will go and collect loan more than that if it's not for mortgage, right? So the first goal is, do you have your down payment? Yes. Second one, do you have any consumer debt? Bring it to zero. If you want to buy home the soft way, right? Remember who I am, the soft life strategist. So I don't tell you hard things. I tell you soft things. So if you want to do it the hard way, go ahead and do it the hard way. You don't need a framework. But if you want to do it the soft way, get your down payment saved, get out of high interest debt, and save at least 3 months of that mortgage. At least 3 months of it saved. That's not part of your down payment. Saved, invested. If I can use that word, I don't want to say save because you're not storing it. It has to be making you money. But the reason for that is, especially for those that tie their mortgage to a salary. If you tie your mortgage to a salary, is the biggest risk ever. What if that salary is not coming again? So that's my three framework for home purchase or home ownership. Your down payment, reduce your consumer debt to zero, and then save at least 3 months of that down payment, at least. Okay, so that is the home ownership plan, and you can now track it so that when we get into 2026, you're like, it's no longer, oh, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a house, let me save my down payment and buy a house. Okay, have I saved down payment? Yes. Do I have any consumer loan? Because it even helps you get more qualification amount. If you have all those high debts, you won't be qualified for much. So use it as a framework. That's your readiness framework. Do I have my down payment saved? Check. Do I have my debts, high interest debts, down to zero or very minimal? Check. Do I have at least 3 months of mortgage payments saved? Check. Then you buy a house. Because at least it will take you 3 months to get another job without you stressing. You know that, okay, it will still be taken care of. Okay, so that is number 8. Then number 9 is your energy management. Yes, burnout is real, stress is real. Where did your energy go this 2025? And did it go where you actually wanted it to go? Or you were busy settling fights? Or you were busy talking about Two-Face and Natasha? Or you were busy settling fight between Regina Daniel and the husband? Or whatever was the public, I don't even know what was happening in the media. But these are just examples. Where did your energy go this year? And did it go where it should go? Because energy is the real currency. Oh. Most of where my energy went to this year was going live and educating. It took most of my energy this year, but it was an amazing ROI. The ROI was was too good, where did most of your energy go in 2020? Because energy is like is the biggest investment, is your biggest resource. Time and energy, they are more important than your money because they are limited. Do you know that energy is limited? It's only children that I think it's only children that have unlimited energy. In fact, even children, they will shut down. By the time my son has finished jumping up and down, he will sleep. He cannot help it but sleep. He tries to fight sleeps, and so he's a very hyperactive boy. But even in that hyperactivity, the energy will finish. And so he will just shut down. No matter for how small, even if it's for 30 minutes, but he has shut down. That lets you know that energy is not infinite. It's very limited. And you also know that energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? It can only be transformed or transferred. So if your energy has been going here, it means this part is losing energy. So that's why you have to ask yourself, where did your energy go this year, 2025? Did it go to handwork when it could have gone to mind work? Because the energy, you can hardly use it for everything. No. That's why some people will say, I'd rather pay somebody to come and clean up my house so I can use that time and that energy to create more money. Because if you use that energy to be doing chores, you may not have the energy to think. You may not. I'm not saying you will not, but you may not because of how limited energy is. And energy can be transferred. You transfer energy. So if it's going towards your lower body, it means it's not in your upper body, if you get the point. So where did your energy go this year? What were the things that drained you, and what were the things that revived you? What are the things that drained you? What are the things that energized you? Note it down. Think about it. The reason most of us don't know these answers is because we haven't asked. Your brain is like, you need to ask it question for it to give you answers. That's why I tell people ChatGPT is the photocopy of the photocopy of the photocopy of the photocopy down to raised to power 100 of the brain. It's not even the photocopy of the brain. It is raised to power 1 million. If you have ChatGPT and you don't ask it anything, it cannot just wake up and say, dude, you've not asked me question today. What's going on? It doesn't work like that. And your brain is like that. If you don't ask it, it will not answer. It knows the answer, but it will not answer. It can't just wake up and tell you answer. Every single thing you have gotten, either by inspiration or by thought, you initiated it. You initiated it. That's why I tell people, go to bed with a question. If there's something that you're kind of like wondering about, ask that question as you're sleeping. Ask question when you're in the washroom. Ask questions. So that's why everything I'm giving you here, I am giving you in question form because I need your brain to work. Ask yourself that question. What was it that drained you this year? And you will see it will go. It will start working in seconds. It will start trying to remember the things that drained you, and it will give you the answer. And then you ask it again. So what were the things that restored me, that gave me joy? That's how you know where your energy is going. And that's how you know the energy that worked for you and the one that didn't work for you. All right. So you can track it. You can now say, okay, I noticed that because I used to do this thing in the morning, I have more energy in the morning. So you can set your goals to do certain work in the morning. And if you are someone who doesn't get productive in the morning, then you don't do it. Stop copying people. Stop listening to motivational speakers and just trying to be like a robot. Ask your brain, when am I most productive? And you plan your life like that. You know that you're putting the energy in the right place at the right time. What are things that help my energy come up? I love to teach. So teaching revives me. Teaching gives me so much joy. So I would say, okay, I will be spending my energy doing it. Why? Because it doesn't drain me. What are the things that drain me? Talking on the phone drains me. I don't like talking on the phone. And so I'm like, we're not doing that. But someone else talking on the phone might give them so much energy, give them so much, it gets them excited. So they can use that energy right. Always ask yourself, what is the return on investment of my energy? What's the return on investment of my time? What's the return on investment of my money? These three things, they have ROI because they are investments. Okay, so that's number 9, energy management. Don't joke with energy management in 2026. If you want to thrive, or if you don't want to thrive, don't listen to me. But if you want to thrive, like you don't want to just survive, you want to thrive, you want to live baby girl life, soft life in 2026, you better hold your energy very well. Be very, very possessive of your energy. Be stingy with it. I would rather throw money save at things. I throw money at something to solve my problem. But you see, energy, I'm very stingy with it. Very, very stingy with it. So there are things I don't put my energy into because to me it is more valuable. I make money, I can lose money, make it again, lose it, make it again. But you see that energy, once it has gone to this one, you cannot get this one back. Once your time has gone to this particular activity, you can't get it back. But I can put money in an activity. If it doesn't work out, fine, because I'm going to make another money again and put it in another activity. But most human beings who live a hard life, they hold money and they waste energy. They hoard the money, they keep the money, they are stingy with the money, but they are very generous with energy. They are very reckless. I don't even want to call it generous. They're very reckless with energy. They're very reckless with time. They can spend 1 hour arguing in the comment section about who supports who on things that will not even add value to their life. They can spend times arguing about football, for example. But if it's money, they say, no, 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 I cannot spend money anyhow. But you can spend time anyhow. You can spend your energy anyhow. This should have been the one you will say, I don't want to spend it anyhow. Okay? So that's one thing to really, really track in 2026. Track where your energy is going and catch it early. Catch it early. Then, lastly, which is number 10 on the list, number 10 checklist is now your goal setting, your goals. All these other things are areas of your life. It's not necessarily the goal you set for 2025, but you have to review the goal you set for 2025. What was the goal? What was the achievement? What goal did you set for yourself? What was the achievement? If you passed it, if you achieved what you wanted to achieve, what was it that made you achieve it? If you did not achieve it, what was it that made you not achieve it? Some people look at their goals like some kind of report card. Some of these things are programming. Because of maybe our parents will look at it, if it's good, hey, well done. If it's not good, oh yeah, kneel down here, you beat them. But that's not how you look at your reports. You look at it just like data. You look at it like data. Okay, this is what happened. What was it that made this happen? So that I can do it again. What was it that made it not happen so I can stop it? That's the whole essence of looking at your report, because the report is like crying over spilled milk. The milk has already poured. Your report is a result of your past. I was telling somebody today, she knows herself. I said, I said, you can't be talking about what happened this year. Oh, I did this. Oh, this did not happen. Oh, that one did not happen. It has already passed. We are looking at 2026. That something didn't work in 2025, it doesn't mean it's not going to work in 2026. You just need to figure out what was it. What was it that didn't work so that I can change it in 2026? What was it that worked in 2025 so I can do it again in 2026? That's all. So when you are reviewing your goal, look at it from that angle. What were the habits that worked for you, that made that goal possible? I gave this example that I went live a lot this year. It was part of my habits that I needed to help me achieve my goal. So because the goal was achieved, I will do this thing again. But imagine if after going live, the goal was not achieved. I would say, no, 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 no. Maybe I should not go live every day. Or maybe I should do it like this or do it like that. Then you are setting a different goal. But if the habit helped you get the result, that habit is a keeper. It's a keeper. Now, if there was a habit that made you not achieve the goal, you now need to drop that habit and replace it with another habit. And then try it again for 1 year or 90 days at the minimum. Because that's another thing we have to do in 2026. You should have your 1 year goal, but you should have your milestones. You can do it in 90-day cycle. That way you know that you are achieving milestones. Because another reason people struggle is you want to do this in January, then by December, you're just checking, did I do it, did I not do it? You will feel bad. But if you want to do this in January, this is the goal that you set for yourself. You gave yourself 4 milestones. So every 90 days, what is the milestone that is leading me to the goal? I want to go to Calgary. I am in Edmonton. I can't just focus on I want to go to Calgary and then just be waiting until I've gotten to Calgary. One milestone could be, have I gotten to Red Deer? So that's a milestone. So that even if I didn't get to Calgary, I'm like, at least I got to Red Deer. At least I'm not in my house. So don't set goals that are just, did I hit it or did I miss? No. Make sure your goals have milestones. You're like, okay, I've gotten here. Okay, I tick it. The next milestone is to get here. Okay, I've gotten here. I tick it. And for each milestone, you better identify the habits. The habits. What are the habits that will get me there? Because it's not enough to just say, oh, I will find my way to Red Deer. Am I going to be driving? Am I going to be trekking? Am I going to be flying? How am I going to get there? What are the habits that will get me there? So you are checking it and tracking it every single time. Okay. So that is how you review your goal. And then you set the same thing again for 2026. So you've reviewed it. Which one worked? Did it work out? If it worked out, what made it work out? If it didn't work out, what was it that made it not work out? So you can set better goals for 2026. So 2026, you also have your theme for the year. What is your theme for the year? If December 31st comes now of 2026, how would you have described your year in one word? In one word, how do you want this year to be? Because every other thing will form from this one word. It's not about so many goals. It's about one theme. Because if you don't have one theme, your goals are going to be competing with each other. But when you have a theme, every other goal is bowing to that theme. And so they will not compete because we are all working together. But when you don't have a theme and you're setting goals, your goals will be dragging your energy. Remember energy management. So the goals are all dragging your energy, which means they are competing. But if you know that this is the theme for my year, this is what I want my year to be, every other thing you're doing will be complementary instead of competing. It will not compete. They will complement each other to achieve that one thing. And then you're ready for your year. So I hope this has helped. These are the 10 checklists. If you have a journal, you have your pen, I hope you wrote it down. Number one on the checklist is your health, because without health, every other thing is nonsense. Number two is your family relationships, because without that support, every other thing is stressful. Number three is your income, because without money, you cannot live soft life. Number four is your expenses, because you can't afford to be leaking. Oh, the money does cannot afford to be leaking. Number five is your budget. We are too old to be asking ourselves or to be saying, I don't know where my money is going. If you've ever made that statement in 2025, don't make it in 2026. You are too old for that. Only children should be saying, I don't know. Because my son will do something, he will misbehave. I say, what happened? What made you do it? He said, I don't know. I don't know what made me do it. I can understand a child not knowing why they are misbehaving. Maybe they're just seeking attention, but they don't know how to communicate it that they're seeking attention. So they will say, I don't know. But a grown up should never say, I don't know why something's happening. You're not a child, right? So you should never be saying, I don't know where my money is going. Why are you saying it? Did somebody steal from you? Were you robbed? So we're not in 2026, we're not doing that. We're not saying that we don't know where our money is going. We should know where our money is going. Even if it went towards puff puff, you should know that I'm the one that told it to go there. Even if it went to coffee or pizza, I'm the one that told it to go there. So I know where my money is going. Okay. Number six is your emergency plans. Emergency cannot be bullying you. And then don't be that person that wants to use someone else's money for your emergency. Remember the parable of the virgins, right? Don't go and be begging for oil. You better have your own oil because they will not give you. And they are not stingy. If somebody does not give you money for your emergency, the person is not stingy. It's not their fault. They're not working for you. So why do you want their own money for your emergency instead of you getting your own emergency money yourself? So plan for it so that you don't call somebody stingy, so that you don't call them out and say they are stingy. They are not stingy. They are just wise virgins, period. They are wise virgin. And you too, become a wise virgin. Okay? So your emergency plans, please. 2026, we're not going to allow emergency to bully us. Okay? Number seven, your debt. The income that puts you in debt is not the income that will take you out of debt. Your savings goals, not the one that you started saving after 2 months, you've collected it. We're not doing that in 2026. If you want $10,000 by December 2026, you have to start in January 2026. And you cannot stop. You have to automate it. Because we have an accountability group, we're going to do that. For those that want $10,000 by December, let's make it happen. If it's $5,000 you want by December, let's make it happen. Okay? So if it's to get out of debt, let's make it happen. Then number 8 is your home ownership. Okay? I've already shared my framework. Your down payment, your consumer debt gone, and at least 3 months of mortgage payment saved before you say, I'm ready. Number nine, your energy management. What is going to drain you? Avoid it. That pit that they are digging for you, you better jump and pass in 2026. You better jump and pass. Okay. Whatever dig the pit that they are digging for you, jump and pass. That's literally what energy management is. Don't go and fall inside the pit that they are digging for you. Be mindful where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your time, where you're putting your attention, where you're putting your resources to in 2026. And then lastly, set goals that can be achieved. Don't set 1 million goals. Have a theme so that every other goal is under that theme and they will complement each other instead of fighting with each other. Okay, so this is a checklist, like I said, and it's really it's not about you doing too much, because some people feel goal setting is about, let me have so many goals. It's not about you doing too much. It's about you doing something that can be tracked, that can be measured, that you can say, yes, I did this one. I did this one. Even if it's even if it's, I want to call, let's say you're working on relationships or whatever. I want to call one family member every day. It's just one person you call. Tomorrow you call another person, you call another person for 90 days. You've achieved something. It is better than that 1,000,001 goals you have set that you end up not achieving any one at all. So goal setting is not about doing so much. It's about actually doing what matters to you and doing it consistently. When you do something that matters to you and you do it consistently, that is goal setting. If you track these things I have just listed, if you track it, you don't need motivation again. You don't need anybody to ginger you. Just track it. You will achieve your goal. If you need accountability, we are launching our Soft Life Accountability Group. Is to help you track it and to reward you for tracking it and to penalize you for not tracking it. Because if you want your goal to become a reality, you need two things. Number one is a structure. Structure is how to achieve the goal. That's number one. Number two, you need a system. A system is the thing that will ensure that you follow the structure. You can either go get it yourself, or you can join a group of people who are providing it for one another. Whichever one you want is up to you. But use this checklist and find a way to identify the structure and also find a way to create a system to make it happen. But if you need someone to help you with the structure and the system, I'm going to drop a link. You can get it in my bio or here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can click on it and we can discuss. Okay. So, on that note, I want to say a very, very, very Merry Christmas, compliment of the season. This is our last live session for the year. We're going on break till the 2nd of January. Let's go and design our 2026. So if you need support, like I said, in designing your 2026 in a way that would actually work for you, you know what to do. Click the link in my bio, click the link on the description, and let us talk and see if you are a good fit for the accountability program. Okay? Thank you all so much for, being with me, supporting me. Supporting me the whole of 2025. You made it possible. You made my 2025. Every single person that ever listened to my voice in 2025, you made my year. And for everybody that got value in one way or another, we're going to spend the next 10 days now just celebrating or testifying. So I'm not going to be going live, but I will still be dropping some videos, and it will be basically gratitude videos, just testifying on the amazing things that happened in 2025. Either the value that we gave, the results that we got, the people's lives that changed, the people's mindsets that changed. You are going to be seeing it in the next 10 days that ends this year. Okay. So thank you all so much and have an amazing, amazing holiday. Remember to take time off. Okay. Because you cannot start the year with an empty tank. Please do not start the new year with an empty tank. So remember to take time off and review and sit with yourself and design your 2026. So thank you all so much and have an amazing rest of the weekend. Bye.